felt that I didn't do enough for race or racism. But this is what I always understood, that for me, my role is to open people's hearts.
Have you ever watched a superstar on TV and thought their life must be perfect? At 71, Oprah Winfrey looks unstoppable, a billionaire star with the world at her feet. But behind the applause is a story of struggle.
I sat with my mother and I said, I don't know if you're gonna make it. Do you think you're gonna make it? And she said, I don't think I am.
Heartbreak and battles the cameras never showed. Today, we're revealing the curtain on the woman who carried the weight of millions while hiding her own scars. Stay with us. You won't want to miss what's coming next. The making of Oprah's voice. Oprah Gale. Winfrey was born on a cold January morning in 1954 in the small Delta town of Kosciuszko. Vernita Lee, her mother, worked as a maid when she was younger. Her dad, Vern Winfrey, was a young barber who also did part-time work as a coal miner. They were together for a short time, but broke up right before Oprah was born. From the moment she breathed her first breath, she had to fight for safety. Little Miss was sent to live on a farm in the country with her grandma, Hattie Mae Lee. There wasn't even enough food for the two of them. Toys and bright clothes were missing. They had to do things like bring water, feed animals, and clean the floors instead. But before she turned 3, her grandmother taught her how to read the Bible, which was a very good gift. She felt strong because of the first word she learned. She didn't own anything else. She would say it was her first bright moment and a lesson in how pain can teach you something. It stopped being peaceful on the farm when she was 6 years old. To live with her mother in Milwaukee, she was sent north. She had hoped to find peace there, but all she found was chaos. Vernita wasn't at home very often because she worked long hours as a maid. People in Oprah's family and babysitters sent her back and forth. People either took care of her well or not at all, but she was never really safe. Afterwards, she said that she felt like no one wanted her as a child and that no one even saw her in her own home. She knew she didn't belong there deep down. When she was young, it got darker. The men she trusted broke her trust in the worst ways, leaving scars that will never go away. A long time passed before she talked much about these scars, but they changed the way she saw the world. At age 14, she got pregnant without meaning to. This is something that no child should have to go through. The boy was born and didn't live long. She felt empty in her heart, even as an adult, because of the loss. She always had a quiet sadness with her, no matter how high she went. Because she was too busy and didn't know what to do, Oprah's mother finally sent her to live with her dad in Nashville. She had to get good grades, stick to a strict routine, and follow strict rules like curfews because Vernon Winfrey was strict. But those rules might have saved her life. Under his roof, she found the first stable pattern she had ever known. Someone expected her to do well and pushed her to do more than just stay alive the first time. In the end, she said that was the meanest act of kindness she had ever seen. She was eager to prove herself by the time she was in her late teens. When she was 17, she entered the Miss Black Tennessee show, not because she thought it would be fun, but because it might give her a small chance. She won. After that small win, she thought everyone might finally hear her. She also got a part-time job at a Nashville radio station around the same time. She often came in borrowed shoes and clothes that were too small or too old for her. To pay for the bus fare, she would sometimes skip meals. Still, the first time she sat behind the mic, she felt something click. She knew this was what she needed to do, even though no one else had seen it yet. having to deal with being poor on the farm, feeling unwanted in Milwaukee, being abused, losing a child, her strict father, and the need to be heard all made her angry as a child. Her scars taught her to care about other people. Her hunger made her more determined, and her shame taught her to see when other people were ignoring them. Before she became famous on TV, she had been in fights that would have broken anyone else. And that's where the next chapter begins, the heavy cost of the spotlight that nearly crushed the woman who once carried potato sacks as dresses. The price of power. The girl who used to read from the Bible in a small country church brought the same honest tone to her first real talk show job. She helped run People Are Talking in Baltimore from 1978 to 1984. Even though it wasn't fun, it showed her power. She didn't interview people like a show. She listened as if their pain were her own. Soon, that kindness would change afternoon TV. They called in 1984. AM Chicago, a morning show that was having trouble, was losing viewers. Within a few months of Oprah's arrival, the ratings turned around. She dethroned the famous Phil Donahue, and by 1986, the show was known all over the country as The Oprah Winfrey Show. It turned into a cultural temple for 25 seasons, and millions of people came there every weekday, looking for truth, healing, or just a reason to keep going. The lighting that made her shine, though, began to burn. To keep getting high numbers year after year, she had to act like America's unofficial therapist-in-chief. It was important that every show was great. Every mistake made the news. That constant stress hurt her long after the cameras stopped rolling. With the 1998 movie Beloved, she tried to give the world something more deeply when she was at the height of her fame. Her $80 million dream project was a story about the scars of slavery that she thought would cement her place in art history. On opening weekend, though, people picked Bride of Chucky, a sequel to the horror movie Chucky. Beloved made about $65 million, but only half of the houses were full. She was lost in a fog of sadness for months. She later admitted that she felt lost and empty, like she had lost her sense of purpose. It was a rare public failure that was more painful than any review from a reviewer. As she worked to heal her spirit, she never stopped fighting another battle, the one with her body. The wagon of fat stunt and the mean tabloid covers that circled her in red ink made her weight a national show. She once said that her weight had been her biggest and most famous demon for 25 years. The criticism not only hurt her self-esteem, but it also hurt her body. She had bad knees for years because of worry and going on and off diets. In 2021, she had to have surgery on both of them. She was scared for weeks that she would lose the ability to walk without help. This was scary for someone who had danced on stage in front of millions of people before. For recovery to happen, discipline had to be as tough as any ratings fight. She made herself start a new routine. She walked 3 to 5 miles every day and did 10-mile hills on the weekends to slowly get stronger. She then chose honesty over appearance again in 2023, when she said she had started taking weight loss. She didn't say it was for pride, but to stay alive after decades of fighting the same war. People all over the country got into fights after she told the truth, but it also took away the shame that had been following her for years. Even so, the secret ledger of family deaths that left even deeper scars would be worse, and that no camera could record. In the next part, there will be more heartbreak. The ledger of goodbyes. A fight was going on behind the scenes, while Oprah worked to keep her show popular, the slow, quiet death of the people who had shaped her life. Fame could fill arenas, but it couldn't keep her safe from the randomness of loss. Her younger brother Jeffrey died of AIDS in 1989 when he was only 30 years old. This was the first blow. The outbreak was at its worst, and fear often got in the way of kindness. She was sad about both the death of her brother and the way people treated him, as if his illness made his life less important. She learned the hard way that no matter how powerful or wealthy she was, she couldn't protect the people she loved. After 14 years, tragedy struck again. Pat was her half-sister. She had been struggling with addiction for years, and it slowly took away parts of her before her body gave out. Oprah said that when Pat died in 2003, people lost not only a sister, but also all the things that sister could have been if things had been different. It was a sadness mixed with regret that showed that love and money can't always calm the storm. On a different note, 2010 brought a shock that made people happy and sad at the same time. She found Patricia Lofton, another half-sister who had been put up for adoption many years before she knew about it. It was like finding a long-lost half of a picture and realizing the other half had been there the whole time. It was nice to see each other again, but it hurt because birthdays, family dinners, and everyday experiences had been lost for decades. It was like getting a gift wrapped in a reminder of all the things they would never get back. The next set of losses hurt even more. Vernita Lee, Oprah's mother, died in 2018. They've always had a complicated relationship because of Oprah's childhood hurts that she has carried around with her for decades. When death came, it shut the door on talks that would never happen, on saying sorry and forgiving that could no longer be done. There was a lot of unfinished business at the goodbye. In 2022, only 4 years later, she lost her father, Vernon Winfrey. He was a strict disciplinarian who had kept her from going down a road of chaos by insisting on school and order. She felt like the ground had moved under her when she lost him. Later, she said she felt empty in a way she couldn't explain, like the rock that kept her steady through life's storms had finally been taken away. She lost her brother, 2 sisters, her mother, and her father, one by one. Each loss left a different mark. They wrote down their sorrows in a book that could not be erased by success or wealth. These wounds made the woman behind the global brand who she is today. They show that being resilient doesn't mean never having to deal with loss. It means being able to do so and still move forward. But even in all that sadness, there was one steady thing that waited just outside the spotlight: the quiet, lasting love that wouldn't leave her to face the world by herself. The next part starts that story. The love that chose freedom over vows. Oprah's public life was full of power and fame, but her love story was much quieter and was shaped by both love and sadness. William Bubba Taylor was her college sweetheart at Tennessee State. He was her boyfriend before anyone knew her name. He was the first person who really loved her. The first person who could look past her problems and believe in her promise. But their hopes were bigger than what they could do. They broke up because they were poor, wanted to start a new life, and felt the weight of building it on weak roots. That loss taught her that even kindness can be broken by things that hearts can't change. Around the middle of the 1970s, she felt drawn to the artist John Tesh. Their relationship was kind, warm, and strangely stable. It was a glimpse of a type of relationship she had rarely seen before. But the world outside their walls wasn't ready yet. People still talked about and were prejudiced against mixed-race couples, and the pressure from society started to break down what they had built in private. They didn't break up because they didn't care about each other. They gave up because the world was too narrow-minded to let them grow. That broken heart left a quiet mark, the pain of love lost not by choice but by unfairness. Soon after, there was a short spark with Roger Ebert, a film critic. They had barely had time to get to know each other before one dinner conversation changed her job path. Ebert told her to syndicate her popular talk show across the country, which helped her build AM Chicago into a cultural empire. It showed that even short meetings can change the course of events. Sometimes, knowledge is more valuable than love. That's when she met Stedman Graham in 1986. For almost 40 years, he would be by her side, neither above nor below her. Their friendship was never based on celebrity status or red carpet appearances. When they said they were getting married in 1992, everyone thought it would be a big event. Instead, Oprah shocked everyone by putting off the wedding. She said that the pressures of marriage could have upset the balance that had helped their love last. They decided to be with each other over following the rules, showing that commitment can be defined in any way the person wants. It was a big deal for her to decide not to have children. She said that her road would be different because she had lost a baby when she was 14 and didn't think she had the patience to be a mother. She didn't raise a few kids. Instead, she put all of her caring energy into schools, grants, and charitable work. She called herself a mother to millions in spirit. Stedman became her safe harbor in a business where relationships come and go like flashbulbs. He was the quiet one who let her company grow without making her shrink to fit someone else's idea of a wife or mother. Even though they put up with a lot, the story still has the quiet of a home without kids. Even though they were close, the sadness of a family line ending with her would always be there. Even though her heart was stable with Stedman, she needed peace in many other ways besides love. She needed it in land, memory, and the safe places she built to finally feel at home. That's where the next story takes place. The land that finally gave her peace. After years of being in the spotlight and in the news all the time, Oprah finally got the peace on her own land that she had only dreamed of. The Promised Land and Seamare Farm, two estates next to each other in Montecito, became special havens for her. Both of them covered 23 acres and have oak trees, stables, and fenced riding trails. They also have 2 private wells that keep the fields green even when California is dry. Owning this dirt is more than a luxury for the barefoot child who used to wear potato sack dresses on Mississippi dirt roads. It's proof that she has changed her roots. The home at Seamare is just a short drive away. It's only 4,700 square feet, which is small by billionaire standards, but it's warm thanks to fireplaces and wood beams. Here, the sound of hooves on soft ground wakes her up in the morning instead of cameras. The main Montecito estate rises above the paddocks and has fountains, old oak trees, and terraces where she now meets with friends instead of audiences. Not every beautiful home in her portfolio stayed there. The stunning Colorado house in Telluride was sold in 2021. It had a snow-melt driveway, glass walls that let in mountain views, and a bathtub made of limestone that was said to cost $70,000. She said it was too much for her to handle and showed that wealth without meaning is just weight. She can reach across the Pacific to Maui, where she has nearly 1,000 acres that were put together between 2015 and 2023. Instead of using the island as another vacation spot for celebrities, she has been a good steward of it, protecting open space and starting the People's Fund of Maui with Dwayne Johnson in 2023. This fund sent about $60 million directly to more than 8,000 adults in need after the wildfires. Yes, even her cars talk in low tones. A muddy Polaris RZR for riding on farm roads. A Lincoln Navigator for style and comfort. A Lexus ES 350F Sport for classy style that doesn't stand out. To show hope for a better future, I bought a Tesla Model S. For travel beyond the road, her $70 million Gulfstream G650 is less of a luxury and more of a way to be independent. After a lifetime of being told where to go and when to land, she can choose for herself. Oprah's journey proves greatness can rise from scars. If her story moved you, like, share, and subscribe. And don't miss the next video popping up on your screen now.